a jam-packed week in the cosmos, and here's what you need to know about it. Good morning, loves. My name is Comet, if we have not yet met, and welcome to Just Another Magic Monday, your weekly horoscope forecast where we break down what's happening astrologically, but furthermore, what I'm more interested in covering is how you can activate and lean into this energy tangibly and practically and daily. We break down the cosmos into a big picture theme that you can grab onto, as well as day by day insights, understanding what opportunities and challenges the cosmos are giving us in the week ahead. And the week in particular that we are covering is September 5th to September 11th, which, may I say, is busy, very on brand for Virgo season. And when the cosmos are busy, we tend to feel busy here on planet Earth. So this week we've got a glamorous, spiritual, creative Pisces full moon, which is in equal parts confusing, delusional, and also very scattered. And then this Friday, we have Mercury stationing retrograde, which is scheduled to create a little bit more havoc than usual because so much of the cosmos are answering to Mercury at this time. I mean, we've got Venus in Virgo now, that happens at the beginning of the week. We have Mars in Gemini also answering to that Mercury. We have the Sun answering to Mercury. And starting this Friday, Mercury is going to be a little wonky, so we can feel a little wonky as well. So fear not, because we're breaking down what this energy is actually good for, co-creative opportunities, as well as what to be a little mindful about as you make your way into September 2022 astrology. Before we do, let me know what you are sipping on today. I've got a honey cinnamon Americano with some coconut milk, and it is getting me ready for all of the wackiness and opportunities of this week. So cheers, love. Happy Magic Monday. So loves, to better understand this week's astrology, let's take it into Vibe Check of the Week. So Vibe Check of the Week is essentially when we break down the week's astrology into an image or an emotion or something else that you can sort of grab onto to better understand how these themes are coming to the surface within your world. So this week's Vibe Check is some annoying advice that you may have been told a time or two. I know I certainly have. And the advice comes when you are frantically looking for something. Let's say, for the purpose of the vibe check, you cannot find your keys anywhere. You have retraced your steps. You have looked high and low. You have looked underneath the couch. And when you turn to a loved one to ask for advice or just to complain about it, they say, as soon as you stop looking for them, you'll find them. And it's kind of infuriating because so much of your mental energy is like, where are the keys? Where are the keys? How am I gonna get to work? What do you mean if I stop looking for them, I'll find them? Like, I don't have time or space to stop looking for them. What are you talking about? And you work yourself up into a huge tizzy. You literally tear apart your home. And as soon as you're like, oh, I'm so hungry, I don't know how I'm gonna solve this issue, but let me just order some takeout and then I'll continue looking. And you open the drawer where you keep all of the little takeout menus from all of your favorite spots, and there are your keys. In the moment that you were not looking for them, there they were. And that's what this week's astrology feels like. Because with the Pisces moon, there really is this mystical lens over this week. It's sparkly, it's shimmery. And I do want to let you know, I did a deep dive on Pisces full moon, certain themes that could be coming to the surface based on where this Pisces moon is landing within your chart. And it does cast this shimmery glow around feeling supported by something bigger than ourselves, around those magical moments of synchronicity. And it's an interesting axis, the Virgo sun and the Pisces moon, because the Virgo sun is overwhelmed. It's a little bit panicked, it's attuned to the details, it's worried about how to get to work, but the Pisces moon is like, just be, just surrender, they'll come up, and then alas, they do. So it's equally a time of year that we need to honor the Virgo desire to get our stuff together, to attune to the details, to find what it is that we are looking for, but also the Pisces desire to recognize the bigger scheme of things. And this vibe check also honors Mercury stationing retrograde, which is this energy around things can be wonky. You can lose things, there could be technological difficulties, delays when you're getting place to place, miscommunications, things might get a little wonky, and we can either stress ourselves out, panic, feel really overwhelmed, as the Virgo sun is apt to do, or we can allow ourselves to surrender in those moments that we feel so scattered, so overwhelmed, and trust that the keys will come up. What it is that you are looking for will come to the surface. This week is asking us to trust, but I'm not saying this trust is necessarily easy. It's a surrender, but a surrender that you're like, I literally have no choice but to surrender, and then magically what it is that you want awaits. Okay, so you got that? We'll be giving more texture as we take it day by day. I do want to let you know that timestamps are below. Any time that I mention will be PDT, as I am located on the West Coast. So adjust to your time zone if you are not. And without further ado, let's take it into the astrology of Monday, September 5th. So good morning, happy Monday. So overnight, Venus entered Virgo. And I chatted a little bit about this last week if you want to check out last week's Magic Monday. But what you need to know is that Venus is not inherently comfortable here. Venus is about pleasure and beauty and love, and Virgo is about utility and efficiency. And with these two, it's almost this energy around sit down and enjoy a nice meal. I can't. I'm busy looking for my keys. Or sit down and enjoy a nice meal. I wish, but I have all these work tasks to do. Or sit down and enjoy a nice meal. Ugh, I can't until I clean these baseboards. Or is that a speck on this glass? It's like we're wanting pleasure, we're wanting to find the beauty around us, but we're so attuned to the details. It's like, you know that vibe when you look at a picture that you've taken of yourself and at first you're like, okay, all right, cutie. And then you look harder and harder, and it's like the more that you look, the more strange and bizarre you look, and you're like, my face doesn't make sense. My nose is not the right size. My eyes are not the right size. Like the longer you look at this picture, you're like, I am an alien. Why do I even go outside? It's like, you know, beauty is beautiful when we just take in the perfection of what it is that it is, right? When we analyze and break things down into details, we are likely to find little imperfections or little ways that it's not ideal. It's like if you look at a flower, there might be a bug on it. There might be, you know, part of the petal that's torn. It's still beautiful. And that's why, you know, Venus is exalted in Pisces, which is about being able to see the perfection, the dream of it all. And with Venus in Virgo, it's like we're looking a little too hard that we're not able to fully see our beauty or even just the beauty of the present moment. So it's not too terribly happy there. With Venus and Virgo, you know, we can be a little bit more critical when it comes to our loved ones getting the ick. Because again, it's like love is about absorbing and accepting the perfection of the person in front of us. But if you look too hard at anything, you'll see those imperfections. And if you are a Venus Virgo, this came up in a consultation recently and it made me so sad. But she was like, yeah, you know, I have Venus in Virgo, the planet of beauty is in its fall. That's probably why I'm not pretty. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that how you feel? And for anybody else who might feel that way, that's not what this placement is about at all. It's not about your inherent beauty or lack thereof. In fact, some of the most beautiful individuals on this planet, the most attractive individuals, have Venus Virgo. So I do not want anyone to internalize it. Just to name a few, I know Julia Roberts has this. I know Bella Hadid has this. I know Kim Kardashian has this. Like, so many beautiful people. So I don't want anyone to internalize it that way. But what I have found with Venus Virgo is that we can be very critical and particular about our beauty, right? It's like when you look at just the big picture and are able to absorb the perfection in the imperfections, that's the energy of Venus's exaltation, Pisces. And Venus is in its fall in Virgo because Virgo is about the details. And it's like if we stare too hard at any little thing, imperfections or slight ways that things can be adjusted are bound to come to the surface. So just being mindful that when it comes to Venusian affairs, which is your beauty, which is your love life, there's going to be a little bit more of a detail-oriented gaze upon it. So just something to be mindful of. And what's also interesting to note is that now that Venus is in Virgo, Venus is now working with Mercury because Mercury and Venus are in what's called mutual reception. They're sort of in cahoots because they're answering to one another. As Mercury in Libra, because Libra rules Venus, is answering to Venus, and Venus in Virgo rules Mercury, is answering to Mercury. So they're kind of like chit-chatting. You know, Mercury's peregrine in Libra, so not too happy nor unhappy. Venus is not too happy in Virgo, but the two are sort of working together. And again, it's like wisdom or insights or intellect. Mercury the answers that we seek, the keys we need to find, coming in those moments when we're able to sort of just chill or relax. That's the energy of Venus, is the attractor. Not going to be easy advice to bear this week. Like, there's really going to be a vibe around getting yourself in a tizzy, whether it's trying to finish this particular project and everything's going wrong, or trying to find keys. It's like, for some reason, the results that you're looking for are going to come when you're able to be in a little bit more of a receptive space. But the Virgo placements are going to be like, I don't have time to be receptive. I don't have time to chill. What are you talking about? And it's an interesting life school lesson in that way, is that sometimes our analytical mind and the doing can't necessarily solve every single problem. So just something important to keep in mind this week. So other events on Monday, other than Venus entering Virgo. So we have a cardinal T-square. So a Capricorn moon is setting this off, and it connects Mercury in Libra, Jupiter in Aries, and the Capricorn moon. And if you have a T-square within your chart, you know that T-squares are drivers for action, particularly when it occurs in cardinal signs, as this one does. It can indicate stress and worry and conflict, but particularly within cardinal signs, it's a very get up and let's solve the problem. It's very much like, we've got to find these keys. Like, we've got to do something. Let's tear this place apart. Let's get this done. And with the T-square, it's not the most gentle, loving way to enter a Monday. It's like checking your email from bed and like everything at work is on fire. Not literally, but it's like, this client is mad and you didn't do this and this was wrong. And you just like wake up, don't even have time for coffee. You're just like, oh my gosh. And it's good because it does build momentum to like, okay, we got to get going. We got to solve these problems. We got to get on top of our week. But it's stressful. It's very much running around trying to handle these things, running around trying to find these keys. Like, I've got to fix this. I've got to do this. It's a jolt to get us going, but it's not always the most pleasant jolt. But it is effective, especially with the Capricorn moon, attuning us to the practical reality of situations. Just be mindful not to be too harsh on yourself. Right now, we have both of the more feminine planets, which is Moon and Venus, in places that it doesn't necessarily enjoy. So it's like, there's really not feeling towards the beginning of the week a moment to stop and smell the roses. You're like, stop and smell the roses in a house that's filthy, with an email inbox that looks like this, with keys that are nowhere to be found. What do you mean, stop and smell the roses? Like Moon, which is emotions, nurturing, as well as Venus, which is luxury and beauty. They're kind of like feeling not in the mood for that, and they're kind of like, well, there's too much to be done. Like, you can relax and enjoy beauty once your to-do list is done, or once your house is spot clean, or once you're in Forbes 40 under 40 is when you can chill. I will say the moon is being helped out by the Virgo sun, as there is a nice trine, and we are in the waxing gibbous moon phase. And within the moon phase, this is essentially about attuning to the details, improving, refining. It's important as you move into this week, and just even like with the tone of this week, is that we're building to this Pisces full moon over the weekend, right? So the closer we get to the weekend, the more the emotions are going to come to the surface, the more busy things are going to feel. And the waxing gibbous moon phase is really about getting on top of things, handling little details, improving and refining as we build towards that full moon. So you do have support when handling your to-do list, but there might be a decent amount of stress that kind of got you going and is getting you fired up for the week on Monday. And again, not fired up where it's like, I'm so motivated, I'm gonna do all these things, like fired up in regards to, oh my gosh, this is messed up and this is messed up, and like, oh my gosh. And this happens very early in the morning. So again, it feels like a harsh wake up call. At least it gets you going, at least it gets you out of bed, but not the most pleasant. And then that evening, the Capricorn moon squares Chiron in Aries. So we could be feeling more pessimistic, not necessarily are as in touch with what it is that it takes to like nurture ourselves or make ourselves feel good, or to be quite frank, not even feeling like we deserve to make ourselves feel good. Like, this is looking at ourselves through a very dry, pessimistic lens, looking at the world through a very dry, pessimistic lens, and feeling like we don't measure up, like we don't stack up, which, as I highlighted, that can be part of Virgo season. Tuesday the 6th, very productive morning. I would really recommend getting up and getting after it. As I highlighted, the closer that we get to the full moon, the more chaotic and overwhelming things may feel. So grab this opportunity period kind of early on Tuesday, as the moon does go void at 2:43 p.m. PDT that day. So get up, handle the to-do list. The Capricorn moon is being helped out by a trine to Uranus and Taurus, which is practical as well as creative, being able to generate new ideas, but then ground them down practically, as well as generate new positive ideas. There's a sextile to Neptune in Pisces, and then a conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn. And here's the thing, this is what I've been encouraging with my clients. It's like when we consider Pluto energy, there is like a higher way that it can manifest and sort of the lower level way that it can manifest. So I'm going to encourage you, if you feel the lower level, obviously don't invalidate those feelings, but know that there is a potential to sort of redirect that Pluto energy in a different way. So I'm going to chat you through both examples. The lower level, or some negative manifestations that you can feel on Tuesday, is relating your worth with your ambition or your basically role within the external world, relating your worth with the feedback that you get on your work and on your career, relating your worth to how successful you are in regards to other people. With Pluto, it gives this obsessive energy, this obsessive feeling around like, I'm not enough. There can be, you know, feedback from an authority figure or something of the nature that just makes you, that you just relate with to an internal level, because it's conjoining with Moon. And Moon is how it is that we feel. It's how it is that we nurture ourselves. So if there is like bad feedback or anything of the nature on Tuesday, or just a feeling of not enoughness, or just feeling drained or overwhelmed, the potential is high that you're taking it incredibly personally, and it's going to a really deep level. Now, how I would encourage you to sort of up-level this transit is Pluto is tunnel vision, and Capricorn moon is ambitious, as I mentioned. So it's like, if you're feeling a desire to obsessively, you know, go to the bottom of someone's Instagram page, or obsessively, you know, go down a Reddit thread or something of the nature, with Pluto, like, direct this obsessive tunnel vision energy towards what it is that you want to build and nourish would be a positive way of working with this. But do know our emotional landscape can feel intense, our obsessive qualities can feel intense. And the moon stays void from 2:43 p.m. PDT to 8:41 p.m. PDT, at which point the moon enters Aquarius. So Aquarius is the sign of humanitarian values. It's the sign of friendships and groups and large audiences. Wednesday the 7th honestly has some lovely astrology, which is a little rare because, as you know, as I've been sharing every single Magic Monday, if you are someone who watches these regularly, is usually when the moon's in a fixed sign. So fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. Then they're not too terribly happy, not an innate quality of them, but just because of how the cosmos are set up at this time. Because we have Saturn in Aquarius, a fixed sign, we have Uranus in Taurus, a fixed sign, and Saturn is a malefic. Uranus isn't necessarily good nor bad, but this indicates a harsh aspect, which is typically surprises that aren't the most pleasant. So typically when we have fixed moon sign, you know, it's not too terribly happy. It's beefing with those guys. And while that is true this week, it's not beefing with those guys until the 8th. The 7th is lovely. So we're really able to channel the higher vibration of Aquarius, which, as I highlighted, like, hasn't been totally available just because when the moon's in Aquarius, it's, you know, building to conjoin Saturn. But I just want to give a heads up to all my fixed sign loves. If you are one of the signs that I listed, the cosmos have been really impacting you guys. I mean, the nodes are there as well. And I just want to let you know, March 2023 is when Saturn enters Pisces. Okay, so you guys are in the final little sprint of your Saturn work. Keep in mind, there's more work on the horizon. There's always work in life, but I've really felt called to share that with my clients who have fixed signs. I like look at their charts, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're almost done. At least this Saturn work will be done. So if you are in that boat, if things have been very, very challenging and you are fixed dominant, my love, this too shall pass. You are getting to the end of this Saturn Aquarius transit, I promise. So back to September 7th astrology. So the Aquarius moon is making all sorts of lovely little connections. It actually creates this nice little air grand trine linking Mercury and Libra, which, keep in mind, is about to station retrograde. So not the time that I would like launch out new things, but it is great around refining, pulling in details. So the Aquarius moon links Mercury and Libra, which is balanced, which is harmonious, which is considering other people's ideas and outlooks, with Mars and Gemini. So this is a very social energy. This is about getting people together. This is about being inspired by the people around you. I feel called to share this. Like, a lot of times, especially with that moon, Pluto, the day prior, Moon Pluto can make us feel obsessive. It can make us feel jealous. And I just want to reiterate, what this really helpful grand trine is, if you do ever feel those sensations of jealousy, like there's someone in your industry where you're like, oh, they're doing so much better than me, or someone at your workplace where you're like, oh, why'd they get the promotion and not me? Like with this air grand trine, it really reminds us that we can be inspired by the people around us. And with this air grand trine, it reminds us of those individuals that we can feel jealous of or competitive with. You know, there's enough room for all of us to win, and rather than obsessing and being like, they're taking my spot, with this air grand trine, it reminds us, because Mars is involved, it reminds us that other people can be inspiring for us. Like if it's possible, if it's within your orbit, if it's within your attention, like that energy is coming closer to you. So reframing your kind of perception this week, if you do kind of feel like you're comparing yourself to other people. And as humans, we're wired this way to compare ourselves with others. So it's not saying you have to be like, stop it. But it's like, rather than viewing people through this lens of jealousy, this air grand trine reminds us we all have space to win. Maybe I can help this person. Maybe I can collaborate with this person, or anything of the nature, really boosting it up. And if there is someone that you admire, this would be a great time to let them know. Air signs are all about communication and collaboration, and even being able to transmute any sensations that feel like jealousy or comparison into being able to really spotlight that person's magic, and knowing that your own brand of magic, your own brand of art, your own brand of your work, your own brand of poetry, whatever it is just that, your own. And being grateful for those people who come into your attention, whether within a digital space or within your physical proximity, whom you admire, who are carrying a vibration that you would like to anchor in, and something to be grateful for. And it's important to have inspiration within our world. So with air grand trine, great day to reach out to someone that you admire, shoot your shot. If you're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we can create something like this? Or if there's that person that you're jealous of at work, being like, hey, I love your top. Like doing whatever you can to transmute those sensations of any sort of jealousy or comparison into, how is it that we can work together? How is it that we can promote the harmony that Mercury and Libra is after? As well as looking for opportunities that you could bring people together, whether that's through meetings, through friendship connections, even through writing something, reading something. Air is all about ideas. It's all about communication. It's how it is that we share our experience here to other people, because air dives us deep into our mind, into logic, into communication, into connection. So that would be something that I would deeply recommend on Wednesday. And just resisting those sensations, you know, when you're in the middle of a problem, which isn't the worst thing ever. Like with the keys, you're like, okay, logically, I could get another pair made. You know, I just have my little loyalty tags. I can definitely get those back. Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever if they were gone. But there's almost this energy, like you take a break from looking for keys and you're on Instagram and you're like, I bet they don't have to look for their keys. Like, it reminds me when I was in middle school, I was in band for 2 years. I played clarinet. I was not good at all. And I hated band just because I wasn't good, and it would make me solo and I couldn't hit some of the notes. And it was just horrible. Like every morning I would wake up and dread going to early morning band practice. And I remember like one night I was watching TV with my parents and like a Fergie commercial came on, and I was like, she doesn't have to go to middle school band practice. Like I was just like, like not the biggest deal ever. Like I was grateful that I even had the opportunity to learn an instrument. But like at the time I was like, it's not fair. Why does everybody else not have to do band and I have to do band? Like sometimes when we're so deep in the problem, we almost get this like jealous or resentful vibe, which again, when you're so deep in the problem, it's really hard to find that solution. The solution is coming, or the ability to attune to the big picture is coming. And particularly on Wednesday, connect with other people, take you out of your own problems, as well as being able to collaborate and transmute any feelings of jealousy or resent if they are coming up this week with that Pluto conjunction the day prior. Being able to transmute it into, let's help one another out. Let me celebrate your magic. And that morning, we also have a sextile to Jupiter in Aries. So again, that supports the initiation vibe that I was saying earlier around reaching out to someone. What's the worst thing that they can say? You know, say no. Ask someone who looks cool to hang out with you, or to collaborate on a social media post or something of the nature. It's about, we can all win together. We can all work together. Alexa, play High School Musicals. We're all in this together. Literally the vibe on Wednesday. Hey love, editing me here. I just wanted to expand on this because I feel like I didn't communicate it properly. Essentially, what I was trying to say is, remember when problems and inconveniences and snafus arise, which they are likely to do so with Mercury stationing retrograde this week, remember that it is you versus the problem, right? It is not you versus the world. Oftentimes, when we are deep in our own situation, we have this perception that other people aren't dealing with their own stuff or have never dealt with something similar. And on Wednesday, there is this healing opportunity around being able to connect with other individuals, whether it's commiserating about, oh, my keys are gone, or whatever, asking for advice. Hey, what did you do when you were locked out of your apartment? Just remember that other people are not the enemy, and this is an energy where we can collaborate, we can feel seen, we can feel heard, and other people didn't contribute to your problem. Unless Fergie or the people you see on Instagram physically stole your keys, they are not the problem, right? But connecting can be the solution on Wednesday. Okay, so Thursday is when we get into kind of the downside of the Aquarius moon, as on Thursday, the Aquarius moon squares Uranus and conjoins Saturn, and then is void all day. Like, I'm talking all day. 5:34 a.m. PDT to 9:43 p.m. PDT. That is all day. And the closing aspect is the Aquarius moon conjoining Saturn and Aquarius. Like, this is blah energy. This is meant. This is feeling blocked by responsibilities. This is feeling burdened by the problems of humanity. This is feeling personally affected by news or anything of the nature. And this is just almost like with Saturn, it makes us realistic to the point of pessimism, where it's just like, what is even the point? It's like, I don't want to find my keys. I don't even want to go to work tomorrow. It's like this energy around, well, I'm just like giving up. This is also annoying. Being at work and just being like, I don't have motivation, but there's so much I have to do. It's going through our tasks and responsibilities, slogging through them. And I do want to say, while the Saturn is sort of giving us a kick in the gut around gotta attend to your responsibilities, life isn't all butterflies and rainbows, you have to do hard stuff sometimes, I wouldn't do anything too terribly important on Thursday simply because the moon's void all day. I would definitely say Wednesday's great when it comes to meetings or pitches. Like I said, we're all in this together. That's the vibe. On Wednesday, and Thursday is like, girl, you are on your own. That is the vibe on Thursday. It's like, I've got my own stuff to deal with. So Thursday is the time that I would do any sort of like pitches or negotiation. No one's in the mood. We're all just sort of slogging through things. We're feeling heavy. We're feeling burdened. And then at 9:42, the moon enters Pisces, which is a sign of the forthcoming full moon. So again, this is a pathway directly into the feels, directly into what it is that we spiritually connect with. And that's something more that we are looking for in this experience called life. So on Friday, the 9th, the Pisces moon bickers with Venus in Virgo. And this is the energy around things not going according to plan. And when things don't go according to plan, you really have two options. You can freak out and you can panic and you can ruin your entire day. You can yell at people and get frustrated, or you can find that ease of surrender, of like being like, I don't know where these keys are. Like, it reminds me just this week, I had a consultation, I had 2 recorded readings due, and I'm someone where I really plan out my schedule. Hence why in Magic Monthly, I make you a little digital astrology planner every month, because that's what I use. That's what I use to put my life on, my goals on, my habits on. It's how I track my world. And so when there's a deviation, part of me kind of freaks out. But the Pisces moon here is kind of asking us, like, is it that big of a deal? Like, all I did on Monday is I reached out to individuals and I was like, I am so sorry, my Wi-Fi is out. And it turned out one of the individuals had forgotten our consultation was that day. So she was like, thank goodness, because I can't even do today at all. And I was like, oh, that worked out. And the recorded reading people weren't tripping at all. So thank you if you were any of those people who commented that. It's like, no matter how much we plan and organize, and while it's good to do those things, to stay on top of things, because that's what Virgo wants us to do, clean up our world, the Pisces moon reminds us things don't always go according to plan. And you can either panic and freak out and get mad at the Wi-Fi people and try rebooting it a gazillion times, or you can just move on, just flow, just be like, the universe wanted me to have an afternoon off. Because I will say in that circumstance, I so need the afternoon off. And I was like so burnt out that I didn't realize that I did. But when I had the afternoon off to like deep clean and unpack and do laundry and do a face mask and like work out, I was like, I feel like a whole new human. I didn't realize how burnt out I was, right? So in that moment of being so frustrated, rebooting, be like, why is this happening? This is so unreal. This is so unfair. Like, this is so not right. I have it on my to-do list. Now I can't check these items off my to-do list. Are you kidding? The Pisces moon reminds us, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do. No matter how much you plan and organize, there still may be deviations in that. And it's about being flexible in that. It doesn't make it any less annoying. Looking for your keys is annoying. Wi-Fi being out is annoying. But you can either stress yourself out trying to fix a problem. It's like banging your head against the wall. Or you can just flow with it. Be like, my Wi-Fi is not working. I cannot find my keys. Let me just chill for a second. And it's interesting because in that space, you might be able to find the solution. So I just want to say on Friday, especially since Mercury does station retrograde on Friday. So like I said, things getting a little wonky. Definitely knowing that there can be deviations to the plan. You got a certain to-do list of things you have to do, and then you get to work and it's like you have to fix someone else's problem. It's like we have to be flexible on Friday. The Pisces moon is reminding us, let's go back to the big picture of it all. Is it that big a deal that the Wi-Fi was out? Is it that big a deal that your keys were gone? Is it that big a deal that you had to help that person with their project? Keep perspective, because Virgo energy will make a mountain out of a molehill. It reminds me, if any of you are on TikTok, there was like this trend where it's like someone at like a kitchen desk stressed out something, and then it like pulls the lens back. I'll insert one right here. And it gets like farther and farther and farther and farther until it's like a earth view. And like that's important to do with Pisces energy. It's like we are stressing ourselves out for what? In the bigger perspective of it. And I know some of us are dealing with really, really major themes and lessons and all sorts of things. So I'm not trying to make light of that, but I do want you to be mindful around issues that really in the grand scheme of things are not that earth-shattering. And to not scatter ourselves and to not feel overwhelmed. Just handle one thing at a time, do what you can do and release the rest. Handle what you can control and release the rest. The Pisces moon does square Mars and Gemini. We can be a little bit more biting with our words or lash out, like looking for keys and your partner's like, can I help? And you're like, no. Or like on the phone with the Wi-Fi person and the Wi-Fi person's like, reboot it. And you're like, it's still not working. And it's like, you're not necessarily mad. You're just frustrated by the deviation in the plan. That's what this vibe feels like. So just important to be mindful around lashing out at people, especially from like an emotional landscape. You definitely could be feeling things intensely and just feeling scattered and overwhelmed with like a lot in your plate. And then adding to this fun little cosmic soup on Friday, Mercury stations retrograde in the sign Libra. Mercury will journey through 2 signs through its retrograde period. So it will first tour the early degrees of Libra and then re-enter, I should say, Virgo. So the focus with Mercury in Libra is on our communication within connections, as well as how balanced they are or imbalanced they are. So it is a time, like with retrograde, it is a beautiful time around introspection, around looking inward. So with Mercury in Libra, like if you are someone where you get frustrated at your partner, like they should know, Mercury in Libra asks you, well, did you tell them? Did you tell them what it is that you want? And it also makes us look inward around how balanced or imbalanced are my connections. Am I giving more than I am receiving? Am I listening more than I am talking and like feeling heard? Like it does ask us to really think critically about our connections and how balanced or imbalanced they are. But I would definitely expect miscommunications. Like I said, Magic Monthly for this transit, I was like, over communicate, over aligned. I will be at this restaurant at this time. We are rescheduling to this time because timing issues, miscommunications, all sorts of these things can sort of create some issues within our world. So over communicate within your connections, look inward to really process how balanced or imbalanced your relationships are, over communicate, and just adjust for things to not go according to plan. Give yourself extra time when you travel from place to place to place. Know that important conversations at this time may need to be reviewed. Definitely a time that I would avoid, if possible, signing contracts. We can't always pause world for astrology, so if you need to, just make sure you reread it quite a bit. I actually have a whole video on what to do and what not to do during Mercury retrograde, so you can check that out if you want more detail. But essentially, being mindful during the Libra portion of this transit, being extra cautious when it comes to your relationships, your partnerships, contracts, and any sensation of fairness or balance within them. And you'll want to look at where you have late degrees of Virgo and early degrees of Libra to see particular life themes that can be coming to the surface. Saturday, the 10th, is the Pisces full moon. So it exacts early Saturday, so at 2:59 a.m. PDT to be exact. And it conjoins Neptune, it squares Mars, it sextiles Uranus and Pluto. And all in all, it's almost this escape from the Virgo sort of worry. And with this full moon, it is asking us to see the big picture. Like, in the big picture, are you going to be stressing about this in 10 years? And it's like, when you're in the middle of that inconvenience, it is so annoying and it's so frustrating, and you can't think of anything else besides, where are my freaking keys? Why won't my Wi-Fi work? Why didn't this person do their task? Like, when you are just in a problem, you're just absorbed by it. But I really want you to take a step back and be like, would this be stressing me out in 10 years? Probably not. So I'm not going to stress about it right now. And it's interesting because that answer that you're looking for, that solution that you're looking for, the keys that you're looking for can emerge in the second you sort of take a backseat. Because with this Pisces full moon, it's conjunct with Neptune. And Pisces on its own is very mystical and spiritual and all of the things. And Neptune is the same. So it is this energy around being able to open ourselves up to celestial, ethereal support. It's being able to align to higher frequencies of the universe. And the support is there if we want it and if we're open to it. And with this axis, you know, the Virgo part will be judging like, no, you need to be working 24/7 to fix this problem. You need to be looking and looking and looking for your keys. But with the Pisces full moon, it's like, trust the universe. We've got you, okay? We wanted you to have this afternoon off, and that's why the Wi-Fi is not working. We wanted you to find those important keepsakes that you stumbled upon in looking for your keys under your bed, and that's why you couldn't find your keys. We wanted you to handle your coworker's work task and then realize there's certain elements of it that you enjoy, so that you'll bring it up at your next review. Sometimes there can be part to that is helping us in the big picture. And the Pisces full moon is like, okay, let's just relax. Let's just feel supported. Let's open ourselves up to celestial cosmic support. Will this solve all our problems? No. But it is nice to feel that sensation around feeling supported, feeling like there is a plan. A higher plan, that is. Like, Virgo has a plan, certainly, but it has a plan according to its way. Pisces just trusts that there's a plan. Being like, just guide me, whatever. I'm just going with the flow. I'm surrendering, okay? I've looked everywhere, whatever. These keys will show up when they're meant to, and it's like, bam, they're there. This full moon really is asking you, can you open yourself up to celestial support? Can you trust that there's a plan? Even those moments when you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed. This full moon does square Mars. So it's like, we're overwhelmed, we're scattered, we've looked everywhere. Where are these keys? Can you trust that it's for a plan? Can you allow yourself the space and the grace to take a little break, eat a little food, and then find that you find the keys? And I do want to highlight that with this Pisces moon conjoining Neptune, definitely be mindful around any sort of escapism or anything of the nature. Sometimes we can get a little over intoxicated, shall we say, when there is Neptune involved. So something to be mindful of. Escape in healthy ways, escape in constructive ways, escape by going out dancing, even if you're stressed about finding the keys. Escape by having a self-care afternoon when your Wi-Fi goes out and you physically cannot work. Like, escape into something that reminds you of the big picture of your world and gets you out of the problem. Because when you're deep in the problem, when you're deep in the inconvenience, you cannot find the solution. So this full moon is asking you to escape out of the problem, trust in the universal support around you, and allow yourself to return to the big picture of your world. But try to escape in constructive ways, in ways that make you feel more connected to your soul, to your spirit. And then the moon is void at 5:29 p.m. And then that evening, the moon enters Aries at around 11:30 p.m. 11:47 to be specific. I just checked my notes. Which is a fiery burst of energy to initiate the new, to start things, to follow your instincts. And it gets us out of the sensitivity of the Pisces full moon, because I know I've been talking a lot about Pisces full moon is so mystical and so magical, and while that's true, it's also the energy around feeling everything intensely, not only just our stuff, but other people's stuff as well. So as that full moon gets bigger and bigger this week, so will your emotions. So grant yourself the space to ride the waves of happiness, the waves of despair. That's just how we Pisces live our life. So we all get to be a little bit of an honorary Pisces with this Pisces full moon. On Sunday, the Virgo sun trines Uranus in Taurus. So this is the energy around solutions popping up in odd ways. This is inventive energy. This is creative energy. This is original energy. And again, we had to have that little escape. We had to go out dancing. We had to order takeout. Like, we needed to get away from the problem. We need to escape hopefully constructively. We needed to escape from the problem. And now this is energy around, and here's your solution. Here's your solution. Here's an inventive thing that you hadn't considered before. Having that afternoon off when my Wi-Fi wasn't working gave me the space to be able to have an afternoon off, and it stimulated all sorts of creative ideas, and I was so much more present when I got to those readings. I was really dialed in. I was really there because I'd given myself that space. Other examples would be, you do that coworker's project and it stimulates your creativity in a new way. Like, this is energy around finding a creative solution to the problem. So let's say if you didn't find your keys, so being able to realize, oh, hey, my sister has a spare. Let me reach out. Being able to find a creative solution, being able to honor inventiveness and novelty to come into our world. Again, you cannot find the solution when you are immersed in the problem. So with this fertile earthy trine of fresh new energy, there is this energy around new opportunities and new perspectives and new ideas rushing into our life when we gave ourselves that step back from the mundane aspects of living. And the vibe on the 11th is good. The Aries moon conjoins Jupiter, which is expansive. And the vibe on the 11th is honestly pretty good. We have the Aries moon conjoining Jupiter. So we're feeling fired up about these new solutions to the problems. We're feeling fired up about this new perspective. Again, maybe you were doing something the hard way, trying to fix a solution. You finally gave yourself a break because you needed it. And then you're like, wait, there's a way simpler way that could be done. There is this burst of fiery energy. I do want to highlight, because that Aries moon does oppose Mercury and Libra, just being mindful when it comes to being impulsive or starting brand new things. Mercury is retrograde. Okay, look back to past projects, look back to things that were half started. This isn't the time that I would launch brand new things out into the world, okay? Even though the Aries moon conjoining Jupiter and the sun trine Uranus might have all this inventive, original energy, definitely journal down, write down that idea, date the idea that it came up, and work with it during Mercury retrograde. Don't let this really courageous burst of energy feel like you have to put it out there right now. It's too soon. It still needs some time to propagate. Then great idea to move your body on Sunday, as the Aries moon does sextile Mars and Gemini. So move your body, calm your mind. Mars is also in its pre-retrograde shadow. So when I say this energy, this creative initiative energy that's taking place over the weekend, it feels more so around solving past problems or tying up loose ends on past initiatives, or rewriting the final chapter on past writing projects that you started, not necessarily launching something brand new out to the world. Solving past problems, tying up loose ends. This weekend, truly take a vacation from daily living. It doesn't have to be a physical vacay. I'm not saying you have to hop on a plane, and I know the Virgo placements are gonna be like, we don't have time for that. We have so much to do. Are you kidding? I am telling you, sometimes taking a break can be the most productive thing you can do. Because when you allow your brain that space to untangle and to process and to find some ease, you're able to see the world in a different way, you're able to see the problem in a different way, and you're able to find an inventive solution for it. So whether it is a long hike, going out dancing with your girlfriends, going to the park and journaling, going to the beach and journaling, something that gets you out of the daily grind, the hustle. Because when I tell you, you cannot find the solution when you are deeply in the problem. Okay, give yourself a little vacay, and I'm telling you, an insight, an illumination, a solution to the problem will come to the surface. Loves, the Magic Monday mantra of the week is I connect to my big picture. Virgo is stressed. Virgo is overwhelmed. It's attuned to all the details. Now it's answering to a ruler that is now retrograde, which again is kind of slowing down. You could have a harder time expressing yourself. There could be delays and miscommunication and just things going wrong, right? And it's important when you're in those situations, when there is a molehill that you have made a mountain, you're like, this is the worst thing ever. I cannot find my keys. My Wi-Fi is not working. It's important this week to take a deep breath and connect to the big picture. Will I be stressed about this in 15 years? If the answer is no, try not to be stressed about it now. Give yourself a break in those moments that you feel overwhelmed. And I know you will, because we have some squares to Mars and Gemini, which is scattered, which is feeling all over the place. It's like, I gotta do all these things. It's like when you're in that space, when you just feel overwhelmed, when you're at capacity, take a deep breath, connect to your big picture. The world is not going to end if you go for a little walk in the middle of a workday to just allow yourself to calm down from that heated meeting you just had. The world is not going to end if you take a little break from looking frantically for your keys. In fact, you can actually find that you find a solution or generate a new idea in a more productive way than if you just bulldozed ahead, which again, all this Virgo energy will have you feeling like you always need to do. Trust me, listen to the Pisces energy. There's a whisper underneath the hubbub of the Virgo energy telling you all the things you need to do and all the to-do lists and all the tasks and all the ways you're not enough. There is a whisper from the universe underneath saying, relax, tune into your intuition. We've got you. This is all part of the plan. Even if things aren't okay right now, they will be. Sink into it. I love to think of Neptune, you know, god of the sea, obviously, and Pisces is a water sign. Like if you just think of water, just flow this week. The water just ebbs and flows. Some of the waves look really scary and then it gets sucked right back in, right? Like allowing yourself to ebb and flow when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to your energy levels. Grant yourself the space to be as mystical and as wide and as multifaceted and as unpredictable as the sea this week, right? And trust in the bigger picture of it all. Loves, my Instagram handle is @Comet Astrology. My TikTok is the same. You can click the join button below to find out about my little membership, Magic Monthly. Lots of fun little goodies there. Love, until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay magical.